guys, we're cracking into week 13, I think it is now. Car's really coming along now, it's starting to fly together. Connor's still going with the pipes, and Dad has sanded the body down, and he wants to get to primering that ASAP. So we got Troy and Johnny coming over today, little special guest, Johnny. Let's get right into it. Here's the front clip all primed up now. It looks pretty sweet now. It's all one colour. You can really see what the bulge looks like and all the nice shapes without any seams and stuff getting in your way. It looks fucking sweet. So that's pretty much ready to go. Now it's just onto the body. You have to mute.
As Bailey was saying, just about got this thing ready to go into primer. The actual manufacturer did some of the body work on this one, and a few little bits I've had to fix up, but yeah, once again, that's where it comes out of the mould, through here, and they've sort of hidden it quite well down the wing where it comes out of the mould there, so I don't have to do too much there. But yeah, the quarters and the main ref itself is actually really good. So I've actually sanded the most of it down with all the windows fully loaded, because it becomes so flaccid and flimsy and it'll just shake around too much. So I've come right up as close as I can, and then we're going to yank the windows out of it, and we're going to actually just put a couple of, on the back side, we're going to put a couple of bits of perspex, old offcuts, bolted in behind there, so when we're lifting it on and off, it's got some sort of integrity to it. And then I can get it all primed, and then it doesn't matter if they get overspray on them, and I'll get most of these edges all done and everything. Because this has to go onto the car today, because Connor's got these pipes looking absolutely mint, but we're going to get the body on, get the front end on, and we're going to get this hole perfect for the horn to come out the side here. So we do have to get the body on once, really quickly, to get that right. Then I can get outside, get that primed. There's a section of the front end we're going to actually take out of here, and it's going to be permanently on the car, so we're not dragging the front end over. Connor's going to make up a little frame that goes around, and there's going to be a little bit of body that permanently stays there, so we're not worried about knocking the body around.
Have you been baking, Johnny? Yeah, look at this. I made these. I thought you might like. They're a bit delicate.
Oh, they're lovely numbers.
Fancy.
Look at that.
But they're not, you know. But I made them look like Cadbury's.
Yeah, well,
so, you know,
just use the old box.
Yeah,
No, he makes the boxes.
No, mate, yeah, print it.
Brian.
Come here.
I just wanted to discuss something with you.
No, come here. Just come here.
You're famous, you've got to remember that.
Johnny, what's that famous euphemism of yours when something's
between perfection and art. What do you call that? Pride. That's it. That's one of Johnny's best terms, the old pride. You cannot beat it.
As Dad talked about earlier this morning, we were getting the front end on here and checking out where we were coming through with our pipe. So as you can see, the exhaust I pulled up short just of the body, which gave us a really good spot to get the hole saw through the front end there. So I jumped underneath, traced it out, and came through with one of Bailey's hole saws, and it gives us a good idea of where we're going to be coming out with our pipe. So the pipe's not going to look exactly like this because it won't fit in our truck because it will be so damn wide. But that really gives us a good starting point to where we need to make our panel that's going to stay on here, like Dad said. So we need to leave a little bit extra on the front for where our wastegate's going to come out, probably about there, just to leave a bit of room. And then we'll have a bar that goes around there and ties back to the chassis, so that stays with the chassis and the front clips its own thing. We'll get on to trimming that out now, and then I can start welding some more bits on the pipes, and she'll start really looking sweet.
Bit of framework down here, as you can see.
All right, while we're doing the final fit on this body, I thought I'd get the inside these doors painted so we can get the door hinges all loaded back on, try the doors on for the last time. So I just put 320 on my little whizzer, went over it all, and then also these little foam pads are actually great just for nibbing down all the little rounded edges. So I use one of those just to get it all nice. Prep washed it all, and it's ready to go with a bit of green on there. Ben Matters actually said on the YouTube channel that he can't wait to see some green go on the car. So Ben, this is for you. I'll hold you to that $5,000 sponsorship donation for you promised if we got some paint on it this week. So that would be great. Check's in the mail. But yeah, as you can see, it's very little primer. It's just enough. You can just see that we're rubbing through everywhere. And that's all we want, just enough so the green will key to it. While I'm doing inside the doors, I'm going to do the back sides of the wing plates, because if you're ever putting stuff in the gun, you may as well get the back sides of as many things as you can done. So let's hit it.
All right, guys, while Dad's been making a mess out here and Connor's been doing the pipe cutout, Troy's been hacking away, making some little floors up for each side of the car. So he's just done a nice little one for the driver's side here, just something to rest your foot on near the brake and when you're sitting there in the lanes. And he's done one for this side as well, all bead rolled. Looking sweet.
And then I'm going to have one go. All right, so now you can see a little bit more what we were talking about when we were saying about the brace that was going to be behind here, supporting this small panel that we're going to cut out of the front end. We've tied it back to a few points on the chassis and then used this bar to triangulate that, and it's come up pretty stiff. So it left us enough room to get our screamer pipe to come down through the side there as well. That's going to poke out the side, just be straight cut with the body, and then we can start working on this once we cut our piece out off the body, mount it up. We're going to run a little strip around the top of 0.9 steel, which is going to have our deuce tabs and is what we're going to mount our little piece off the body with as well. So multi-purpose piece running around there. And yeah, once we've done on this side, then we can move over to the other side and start over there.
The old snoozer brigade, eh?
Okay, while we're unable to work on priming this roof and quarters up because Connor needs it for all his pipes and everything he's doing, we've gone ahead and done those inside edges like we showed you. Got them all locked away. There's never a time to say, oh, you can't get a job done, because there's always 1,000 jobs to do. So now we're moving on to the blackouts around the windows. And if you remember back at the very start, all these windows were, had a massive amount of overhang. Well, we used the 19mm tape and stuck the 19mm tape around all the window frames, and then that's what we cut the frames down to, 19mm. And that's just a really good guide, so you get a nice cut. So then when it comes to the blackouts, we're changing to 25mm. So we'll have 6mm overhang, so you won't see any of the daggy, well not that they're daggy, but you won't see any of those inside frames because we've gone to a bigger tape. Same on the front here, 19mm to 25mm. So all those inner frames are going to be now hidden. So then we come over to taping them out. How I do it is I stick the 25mm all the way around as my guide, and then I get the fine line tape, which you can buy for $10 from Super Cheap or whatever. It just does the nice tight corners. So then once you've used the 25mm as your guide, then you pull the outside, pull it off. We give it a little nib back. My able assistant Troy has just nibbed them back with one of our foam pads. You can use a Scotch pad or anything, but just to make it so it keys on there. So you put your 25mm there, and then you just go on the tighter turns. You just go from dot, nice tight turn to dot, and that maintains a pretty good 25mm most of the way around. So this is a little sample we did earlier. We were trying a couple of different glosses and mattes and everything, and we found that the actual etch primer, which I have heard that any metal primers are actually really good for putting on Lexan. So we did a sample, we've scratched the crap out of it, we put tape on it, and it's really adhered well, and you can't see the scratch marks through the other side. It comes up glossy on the outside and matte on the inside. And that's one we've got completely ready to go. So it's all been prep washed and just taped off so we don't get any overspray on the backside. But yeah, it's just going to be a little rattle can. And those windows will be all ready to go for when she comes back from paint.
Thank God.
Oh. Sheesh. Did I ever say how much I love auto bodywork? It's a passion of mine, and through our other builds you might have noticed my passion for bodywork, but I'm getting pretty close on this one now. I got it all primed up. This one I didn't do the spray putty separately. It didn't have any really bad repairs, but where the seam was down here, I just put some high build on first, couple of coats, and then I've just put 3 coats of 30% reduced primer filler over the whole thing. You remember we had a big bit missing out of here, so that's all back in looking nice. There's still this is a classic fiberglass thing, these little pinholes, they'll be everywhere over the car. So in the next day or so, whenever I'm mixing up any little putty, I'll knife them in before we put a guide coat on, and yeah, it's basically, I'll be 320 or 400 it all down, and that's it. This is getting painted. Every part of the body now is in final primer and ready to paint. And same with this front end here, she's ready to go, apart from we've removed that section. So I will have to do a little bit of dressing up around here and just spot prime that little bit. But yeah, by this weekend, we're probably going to have the body on, front end on, pipes sticking out. And we can have a real good look at things as we move into the next week. All right, let's get some wax and grease on this thing. Connor's still stuffing around with the pipes, so I've got to keep going. So the big revelation of this week is we're not going to powder coat. We are now, the reason we're not going to powder coat is because we can't afford to have this car leave the shop. We have to keep everything in our own control. So for this season, we are going to go with just the black on the chassis. We're going to, next season, all these panels are going to be changed to carbon fibre. So I thought, what's the point in spending all this money on powder coat and everything when it's only going to be a short-term thing? So we've decided to just paint these. So I've given them a nice, roughed them up, gave them a nice whiz down, I'm prep washing them. I'm going to put one coat of primer on there, and then I'm going to give it a very light nib back and put some 2-pack satin black on them, which will match what the chassis's got now, and that's it. We'll get the tubs can get bolted in the car, and it's just moving on. We've just got to get this show going. Right, while we had primer in the gun, we just cleaned these tanks up, gave them a couple of coats so they can dry out for a few days. We're going to do them in high gloss black, so they're just ready for another day. These panels are primed up, left them for a couple of hours. I just give them a light rub over with a Scotch pad just to give them a little bit of a key. I've got some black and we'll get into it.
Okay, so here we are, finished up the little bird cage around the pipes here coming out the side, and also multi-purpose for mounting our front end and holding our little plate for around our exhaust so we don't go smashing the front end up. Yeah, we've got our piece of 0.9 on there. Obviously we've got to trim it up a little bit. It's just hanging a bit long at the moment. But got our wastegate pipe through there as well, which wasn't on there last time we talked about it. Still undecided what we're going to do with this yet, but it doesn't really matter, so we just got it hanging out the side at the moment. If we decide to go a bit shorter with it or do a lick on it like this one, we can do that later on. But yeah, the front end, as you'll see, fits really nice and slides on nice and matches up really good here. We just got to do a little bit of clearancing where we've cut this piece out of the front end. It's still a little bit close in some places around the front of this, so we don't want them to be too close. When you get tyre shake, that'll bump into each other and just chip the paint off, which will look like shit. So we've got to clear that out a little bit more, and yeah, should we all steam ahead, we'll be able to go have a look at it out in the sun shortly. You get the idea though.
Yeah. All right, Sunday afternoon, and we decided to get the car out for an inspiration session just to really keep us inspired to keep pushing on. It's been a huge week in the shed. The whole body's in primer now, virtually ready for paint. Connor's done a killer job on these pipes and screamer pipes, and the fit up of the body is just absolutely perfect. The fit up of the front end, sorry. And we've even got some green on the inside edges, so we're starting to really see the end of the road and just keeping us really motivated. So people sometimes say, why do we do these videos? Like, why do we bother? It's just because we don't want anyone's jobs, we don't want to build anyone's car. We just want to share our passion for building cars maybe inspire other people to finish their projects or start a project. And like when we saw Sam Galotto set the Double B API national record many years ago, that kind of in a way inspired us to build a car and better that record. And I think we're, you know, the builds that we're doing, it's inspiring lots of WA local racers to build Double B API cars. And I think next season or in the coming seasons you'll see some of them popping up. So, you know, it's kind of flattering in a way, but it's also, that's why we do it. That's why we make these videos, just for people to get into it like we're right into it. So tune in next week for week 14 when we get right into the engine bay, working on the cold side, pressure regs, oil filters, just the full deck out of the engine bay. Mechanically will be happening next week, and it'll be pretty exciting.